If you've ever stood in the Dollar Tree pet aisle wondering whether the dollar litter is actually going to work, or grabbed a bag of treats without knowing if your cat will even touch them, this one's for you. Dollar Tree quietly changed a policy that almost no other grocery store offers cat owners, and most shoppers still have no idea it happened. 10 things separate the cat parents who've actually figured this store out from the ones who walk past the same aisle every single week without a second look. Let's get into it. Number 10. The brand names on the shelf that aren't trying to trick you, they're just the actual product. Walk down the pet aisle and you won't recognize half the names, and that's usually the moment people assume it's the sketchy stuff. Salty Cat Wet Food, Blue Ribbon Litter, Greenbrier Kennel Club Bowls. These aren't imitation versions of a name brand sitting one shelf over daring you to compare labels. There's no name brand there to compare them to because Dollar Tree owns these brands outright. Salty Cat's canned food comes in 4 flavors: chicken and salmon, duck and ocean fish, built around an actual protein and gravy instead of filler, and it runs about $1.25 a can. A comparable pouch with a logo you'd recognize from a commercial can run 3 or 4 times that for the same size and a similar ingredient list. Your cat doesn't know what the label costs and doesn't care. It only knows what's in the bowl. The litter works the same way. Blue Ribbon is Dollar Tree's own house brand, made from natural clay, and the store describes it as built for odor control, which matters a lot more than the price tag once you've lived through a litter box that couldn't keep up. That gap between the label and what's actually inside the bag or the can is the entire reason this store can be this cheap in the first place, and it's worth understanding before anything else on this list makes sense. Number 9. Why the aisle doesn't feel as predictable as it used to. If you've shopped Dollar Tree for years, you've probably noticed the same thing everyone else has. It's not a flat dollar store anymore. Some things are still $1.25, but you'll also see $3, $5, even $7 items mixed in now. And there's no obvious pattern to where they show up, which is exactly the kind of thing that makes a quick in and out trip take 10 minutes longer than it used to. That shift has been building for a few years and picked up speed recently, and plenty of longtime shoppers aren't thrilled. The days of tossing things in the cart without glancing at a price tag are fading. For a cat owner, here's what actually matters in that mess. The everyday staples, the litter, the basic wet food, the plain treats, are still sitting mostly at the low end. The stuff that crept up in price tends to be the extras, the seasonal toys, the fancier bowls, the specialty items. Knowing the difference means you stop assuming everything in that aisle is still $1 and start actually checking, which takes about 2 extra seconds and saves you from the mildly annoying moment at checkout where a scratching post you assumed was $1.25 rings up at $5 and you have to decide whether to still get it while the person behind you waits. Number 8. Why cat food here hasn't gotten as expensive as it has everywhere else. You felt it at your regular grocery store: litter, wet food, treats. All of it has crept up over the past year or two. The same bag that used to be a mild annoyance to buy now makes you actually pause at the shelf, largely because of tariffs raising costs on packaging and imported ingredients across the board. Most stores pass that straight onto the shelf. Dollar Tree has more room to absorb it, because those pricier $3 and $5 items act like a cushion, letting the store hold the line on basics instead of raising them across the board. The number that actually matters here, according to the company's own recent reporting, is that roughly 85% of everything in the store is still $2 or less. For a cat owner, that means the litter and food you buy every single week are largely insulated from the price creep hitting the rest of your cart at the regular grocery store. It's not a sale, it's not temporary, it's just how the pricing is built right now. And it's a big part of why the gap between Dollar Tree and everywhere else has gotten wider instead of smaller. Which matters most on the weeks when the litter box and the vet bill both land in the same paycheck, and the last thing you want is your cat's actual groceries being the line item that quietly crept up too. Number 7. The coupon trick almost nobody thinks to try in a dollar store. It sounds backwards. Why would you need a coupon somewhere everything's already cheap? But Dollar Tree accepts manufacturer coupons in store, both printable ones and the kind you'd clip from a Sunday paper, 1 coupon per item. Stack a coupon on top of an already $1.25 can of Salty Cat or a bag of Blue Ribbon litter, and you've just turned a cheap item into an almost free one. Most shoppers never check because the entire appeal of a dollar store is not having to clip anything. But if you're the kind of cat owner who already has a small stack of pet food coupons sitting in a kitchen drawer doing absolutely nothing, this is the one place they still work exactly the way they were designed to. Number 6. The seasonal timing trick that turns leftover cat toys into practically free ones. Dollar Tree goes all in on seasonal themes, and cat owners who pay attention benefit from it every few months instead of once a year, which matters if your cat is the type to destroy a toy within a week and needs a steady rotation instead of one good one that lasts forever. Halloween brings a wave of cat-shaped and cat-themed toys and decor. The next holiday brings its own wave of pet-themed accessories, all timed to sell through in a 2 or 3 week window before the shelf resets for whatever's next. The second that holiday passes, that entire section gets marked down hard because the shelf space is worth more to the store than the leftover stock sitting on it. Most shoppers walk right past this because they assume the clearance rack is just picked over home decor and never think to check if there's a cat toy sitting in there too. A toy that was full price in early October can be sitting in a clearance bin by the second week of November, still just as fun to bat around because your cat has genuinely no idea the box says trick or treat instead of anything else. The same window opens up after Valentine's Day, after Easter, after the back-to-school reset, 4 separate chances a year, and almost nobody checks on purpose. Cats have never once cared about seasonal branding. A crinkle toy is a crinkle toy whether it's shaped like a pumpkin or a heart, so this is one of the rare cases where the thing that makes an item cheaper to you makes zero difference to the one who actually has to enjoy it. Number 5. The option built for anyone with more than a couple of cats, or anyone helping out a shelter or a foster network. Dollar Tree's website runs a whole bulk ordering section, cases of litter, multi-packs of wet food and treats, built originally with schools and restaurants in mind but open to anyone who wants to order that way, and the pet supply listings specifically call out shelters, boarding facilities, and kennels as the intended buyer. If you're fostering, running a small rescue out of your house, or you've just ended up with enough cats that a single trip through the regular aisle feels like grocery shopping for a small football team, ordering by the case instead of grabbing individual cans off the shelf cuts out a lot of repeat trips and a lot of standing in line holding an armful of cans that keeps threatening to spill. Number 4. The option that solves the 11 o'clock litter emergency. Every cat owner has lived this moment. It's late. The litter box situation has become urgent, and the only place still open is a pharmacy charging double for a bag half the size. Dollar Tree runs its own same-day delivery straight through its website, organized by category so you can check what's actually in stock at your local store. Build your list from the couch and have it show up instead of driving out at 11 at night to a store that might not even have what you need. For a multi-cat household especially, where litter and food disappear faster than any single cat budget ever accounts for, this is the quiet workaround that turns a 5-minute panic into a couple of taps on your phone instead of standing in your kitchen at midnight doing math on whether the last scoop of litter can somehow stretch until morning. It's not flashy, there's no push notification announcing it exists. It's just quietly sitting on the website waiting for someone to actually use it instead of defaulting to whatever's still open and charging extra for the privilege. Number 3. The trick that has nothing to do with Dollar Tree at all, which is exactly why it works everywhere, including here. Dollar Tree has no loyalty card, no punch card, no point system, and the company is upfront that skipping all of that is part of how prices stay low. Fair enough. But it also means you're walking out with nothing extra on a trip where a grocery store card might hand you back a percent or two. Receipt scanning apps like Fetch, Ibotta, and Receipt Hog don't care which store printed your receipt. They'll take it from almost anywhere, Dollar Tree included. Snap a photo after you buy litter, food, and treats, and it feeds into the exact same point systems these apps already run for every other retailer you shop at. It takes about 30 seconds standing in the parking lot before you even start the car, and it turns a receipt that was headed straight for the cup holder trash pile into a small amount of gift card value instead of nothing. It doesn't change a single thing about what you buy or where you shop, it just stops you from leaving free money sitting in your pocket every week. Picture the cat owner who already makes this exact run every Saturday for litter and treats. She doesn't change her route, her list, or her cat's food. She just adds one habit at the end, and by the end of the year, that stack of ignored receipts has quietly turned into enough gift card credit to cover an actual vet visit copay instead of nothing at all. Number 2, the return rule that saves you an argument you didn't know you were about to have. Buy something at your regular Dollar Tree, and if you need to exchange it, you don't actually have to go back to that exact location. Any Dollar Tree can process it, as long as it's Dollar Tree you're walking into and not its former sister store Family Dollar, which runs on completely separate rules despite the similar name and the fact that the two used to share a parent company. That distinction trips people up constantly. Plenty of shoppers assume the two chains work interchangeably and find out the hard way at the counter that they don't. Knowing this now means you're not stuck driving back across town to one specific store just to exchange a food your cat turned its nose up at. Any Dollar Tree near you will do. Number 1, the policy that actually earns this video its title. The one thing on this list Dollar Tree never made a single announcement about. Every cat owner has been burned by this exact situation. You buy a bag of litter your cat suddenly hates, or a bag of treats that gets one sniff and a cold shoulder, or a toy that falls apart the first day, and by the time you realize it, the receipt is long gone, crumpled at the bottom of a tote bag or tossed out with the packaging along with any hope of getting your money back. At most grocery stores and big box retailers, that's the end of the story. No receipt means no return, period, and you're stuck with a bag of litter your cat treats like it personally insulted them. As of February 2024, Dollar Tree changed that. If you still have your receipt, nothing's different. Full refund back to your original payment method within 30 days. But if you've lost it, the way almost every cat owner eventually does with a $2 bag of litter they never thought twice about, Dollar Tree will now let you exchange it anyway, ringing it up at the current price instead of sending you home with a bag your cat won't go near. To be clear about what this actually is, it's an exchange, not a cash refund. Opened food and health items still generally don't qualify, and individual stores still have some discretion. But quietly removing the single biggest reason people used to get turned away at the counter, for a store where almost nobody thinks to hang on to a receipt for a bag of litter, is a bigger deal than it sounds like on paper. It means the next time your cat rejects a food you tried in good faith, you're not just stuck eating the cost because you couldn't find a slip of paper from 3 weeks ago. That's the thing referenced in the title, and Dollar Tree did it without a press release, a commercial, or anyone at the register even mentioning it unless you happen to ask. Here's what all 10 look like stacked into one normal trip instead of 10 separate things you'd have to remember. You check the app before you leave the house and confirm your store has Salty Cat and Blue Ribbon litter in stock at the price you expect, so you're not driving out on a guess. You dig out the pet food coupon that's been sitting in your kitchen drawer for weeks, and you time the trip for right after a holiday resets. So you swing past the clearance end cap on your way to the pet aisle and grab last month's seasonal toys for next to nothing, since your cat treats them exactly the same either way. You pick up your usual litter, wet food, and a bag of treats, all sitting comfortably under the $2 line that still covers most of the store, hand over the coupon at the register, and toss in one of those clearance toys since it was basically free anyway. If you're stocking up for more than one cat or helping a foster network, you've already placed a bulk order online earlier in the week instead of making 3 separate trips. You hang on to the receipt out of habit, not worry, because you know that if your cat turns its nose up at whatever you picked, the way cats occasionally do just to remind you who's actually in charge, you can exchange it at any Dollar Tree near you later, even if that receipt ends up lost in your bag by the time you go looking for it. And before you even start the car, you open Fetch, scan the receipt, 30 seconds, done, and something that was headed straight for the trash just became a little bit of value instead of nothing. None of it requires you to change what you buy or where you already shop. It just requires actually using the systems that were sitting there the whole time instead of stumbling into one of them by accident every few months, the way most cat owners discover exactly one of these tricks by luck and never think to stack it with anything else. None of this turns Dollar Tree into a dedicated pet store. It was never trying to be one. It's still a dollar store first and a cat aisle second. But if you're already managing litter, food, and treats on a real budget, every cat owner is. The difference between shopping this store by accident and shopping it on purpose is the difference between paying full price one can at a time and quietly having a system working in your favor on every single visit. Your cat will never know the difference between the trip where you did all 10 of these and the one where you didn't. But you will every time you check your bank account instead of just hoping it's fine. Drop your best Dollar Tree cat find in the comments. We read every one of them. And if you know a cat owner still paying full price without realizing there's a system sitting one aisle over at a store they already walk into every week, send them this video before their next trip.